Good morning, dear Dharma friends. Can you hear me? Yeah, good. It's August the 31st. I'm here in Pacific time, Portland, Oregon. On a cloudy morning. I think it's just clouds in the valley though. They'll likely burn off in a couple of hours. I'm Robert Beatty, and I'm speaking to you from a broadcast of the Portland Insight Meditation Community. The website is portlandinsight.org, and there's a great deal happening in terms of the other teachers teaching every night of the week except Saturday. And we've been gathering like this for some months now in the early morning. I'm in my beautiful little house, our little house created by you. And I have a poem. I think I'm changing my mind. Recent. This reading is the first 2.25 stanzas of my ultimate favorite Buddhist document. I carried this in a little booklet in my pocket or my purse for 2 decades or more. And then now it's on my electronic devices. And I have instructed my family that should I ever be in coma, and they want to know what could they do, I say, well, you could read The Great Way by the third Chinese patriarch of Zen. You could read that over and over. So the beginning of it goes like this. The Great Way is not difficult for those who are not attached to their preferences. When love and hate are both absent, everything becomes clear and undisguised. Make the smallest distinction, however, and heaven and earth are set infinitely apart. If you wish to see the truth, then hold no opinions for or against anything. To set up what you like against what you dislike is the disease of the mind. When the deep meaning of things is not understood, the mind's essential peace is disturbed to no avail. The way is perfect, like vast space, where nothing is lacking and nothing is in excess. Indeed, it is due to our choosing to accept or reject that we do not see the true nature of things. Live neither in the entanglements of outer things, nor in inner feelings of emptiness. Be serene in the oneness of things, and such erroneous views will disappear by themselves. When you try to stop activity to achieve passivity, your very effort fills you with activity. As long as you remain in one extreme or the other, you will never know oneness. Those who do not live in the single way fail in both activity and passivity, assertion and denial. To deny the reality of things is to miss their reality. To assert the emptiness of things is to miss their reality. The more you talk and think about it, the further astray you wander from the truth. Stop talking and thinking, and there's nothing you will not be able to know. To return to the root is to find the meaning, but to pursue appearances is to miss the source. At the moment of inner enlightenment, there is a going beyond appearance and emptiness. The changes that appear to occur in the empty world we call real, only because of our ignorance. Do not search for the truth. Only cease to cherish opinions. I actually have had a collaboration with Sam Foranchich and his son. Sam is the photographer for the Blazers, and he's also a fine creative photographer, artist. And he's done marvelous time-lapse photography of Oregon. In fact, the advertising for the state of Oregon to the world has his time-lapse photography in it. And I slightly edited this document and read it, and we put it to music, and we put it to images, and they're stunning. It really is. It's eye candy, really. And you can see that if you go to robertbeatty.com and then scroll down. There's a frame, and click on that. It's 6 minutes or something. But it's absolutely gorgeous. So, come on now. The world is pretty crazy. Our local politics, our national politics are insane. My dear friend Luna Jaffe, as I mentioned yesterday, her son died in his sleep Friday morning. 21 years old. Where can we take refuge? I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya. I take refuge into the Sangha, the community of mindful harmony. Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya. These bodies are of the earth, borrowed calcium and carbon and water. We live in constant communication with the earth, with the breath, the living earth. Just remember to, sometimes I tell this story at quite some length when I'm teaching retreats, but I'll do a very brief form. A couple of decades ago, I was invited by a friend who was doing his psychiatric training at the Menninger Foundation in Kansas. He created a conference called the Heart of Healing, and about 300 physicians came to it, almost all physicians. The keynote speaker was a fellow who came in cowboy boots and jeans and went up to the podium and launched into a talk that there was a lie being perpetrated on the American people, and the lie was that men had walked on the moon. And he went on for a long time, maybe 5 minutes with this. And the room started getting more and more tense. It's a room full of scientists, and here's this guy refuting this obvious truth. And then he said, well, of course, spacesuits walked on the moon. But the people in those spacesuits never left the atmosphere of the Earth, because we can't live without the Earth. This fragile little layer of air that surrounds the Earth. And it's in that everything grows and everything exists, this little thin wafer of life. And then he went on to talk about his life's work, which was reinstituting the grasslands in the Midwest. But this Earth, this beautiful living Earth, it's who we are. We are she, her, it, that. And we have awareness. We have this gift of being awake and aware. So let's hone that awareness now by sitting comfortably upright. There is a living organism here. Notice that your body touches the chair you're sitting on or the couch. The clothing touches the body in a lot of places. and it breathes. It breathes all by itself. Ever since that fateful moment when your mother could no longer breathe for you, there's been this expansion, inhalation, expansion of the chest and abdomen, and then a contraction. The phenomenon of awakening is as natural as flowers opening. As the berries emerging on the bushes, the vines. All we need to do is awaken to the contractions, to the liking and disliking, to the resistance to what is. The mind will think. It might obsess about things. There might be emotions, sadness, fear, depression, moods. There's also something so nourishing, so wonderfully familiar, which is the breath, coming and going. The breath arising out of its home in the body.
Sometimes it can be very helpful to use noting. It's called noting. If you're observing the breath at the abdomen and chest, on the in-breath you can notice the expansion, the rising. And you might note in the mind quietly, rising, rising, falling, falling. When you discover the mind wandering, you would note wandering, wandering, returning, returning, rising, rising, falling, falling. You might discover the mind embroiled in wanting something, in liking, in craving. The first of the 5 hindrances, desire, desire. Or disliking something, hating something, disliking, disliking. You might discover it to be restless, agitated, worried, too much energy in the mind, restless, restless. Or sleepy dullness might comes in like a tsunami sometimes. Sloth and torpor, sleepy, sleepy. Or you might discover doubt, doubting, doubting. We might bring awareness into the hands and thumbs and forefingers. Notice the life here, tingling, vibrating, tingling, tingling. Rising, rising, falling, falling. Or if you're following the breath at the nostrils, it could be in, out, out. If you discover self-hatred, self-criticism, the noting becomes self-hate, self-hate. Over time, we assume a non-judgmental,
deeply embedded in equanimity, position of objective observation of this little piece of the earth that we each take to be myself. Mood. Moods filter perception. The mood results in interpretation of experiences that may be completely skewed. So it really behooves us to know how to pay attention to mood. We can wake up in any mood, or our blood sugar can get a little low, and that can change mood hugely. Or we watch a little bit of news and that affects mood. And please now cultivate a kind, loving, appreciative thought about yourself, about your body that's carried you all these years, and perhaps a few repetitions of the great I love you mantra with your name at the end. I love you. I'm going to take care of you today. Bring mindfulness into your entire day from this moment until you go to sleep tonight. I love you with your own name at the end. And we're going to have a sound meditation, a music meditation this morning. Tim agreed to my request and is, I think, prepared, but just stay inward, stay with your breathing and the preciousness of your body. And you're unmuted, Tim. I'm trying, are you unmute? And do you have turn on original sound in the top left of your screen?
Turn on
original sound. It'll make the music better.
No.
Okay, just go for it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just on a phone, so I don't have anything fancy.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So
look at all that we've accomplished, so fine in every way. And in our pride and glory, it will always be this way. But everything changes and all things pass away. You may see your towers crumble and your mountains wash away. Do-do-do, do-do-do. Oh, help me, God, what have I done? How could I act that way? And how with shame I know that I relive this every day. But everything changes and all things pass away. And there's a spark of hope that you will find your peace someday. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh, look at how we're dancing on this lovely day. And in our joyful hearts we know it will always be this way. But everything changes and all things pass away. But let each moment feed us in its own special way. Do-do-do, do-do-do. Oh, look at how we suffer, writhing in our pain. And in our agony we fear it will always be this way. But everything changes and all things pass away. Just try to let it be until it passes on its way. Do-do-do, do-do-do. Oh, look at how we stumble, so lost and gone astray. And we cry out in confusion, must it always be this way? But everything changes and all things pass away. Just try to understand it as we muddle through this day. Everything changes and all things pass away. So let each moment feed us in its own special way. Let each moment fill our hearts on this precious day. Do-do-do, do-do-do.
Thank you. And so here we sit. Everything changes. Everything changes. Anicca. Coming home to the aliveness that is your body. Please let us, before we end our meditation, imagine ourselves shoulder to shoulder in a great circle at the center. And reach out and hold that hand to your left and hand to your right, as we've done thousands of times.
You're on mute.
Ah, yes, on mute. Thank you. So I'm suggesting, imagine yourself sitting in a circle at PIMC with this group of people. Hold the hand of the person on your left. Give that hand a little squeeze. Hold the hand of the person on your right and give that hand a little squeeze. Reminds me of a little poem. Piglet came up to Pooh and said, "Pooh?" "What?" said Pooh. Piglet answered, "Oh, nothing. I just wanted to be sure of you." So let us be sure of each other. Let us be sure of ourselves. Feel the aliveness of this body. And as you're ready, notice the aliveness in your eyes. And then let them open. And be sure of each other. Be sure of yourself. This Sangha, this collectivity right now, can be with us in memory at least all day. Seeing with the eye, I think of it as seeing with the eyes of blessing, seeing with the eyes of reassurance. I see you. I value you. I admire you. And we support one another in this remarkable practice of awakening. I think I am going to forego announcements this morning and let us announce ourselves. What's happening? Do you have questions? I guess I could just share a little bit. There is what's it called? A Zoom gathering around the burial of Luna's son at 3 o'clock today. If you'd like to have the link to that, email me at robert@robertbeatty.com. And then at 5 o'clock, there's a gathering, a socially distanced gathering at Custer Park, which is quite close to Multnomah Village, between Multnomah Village and anyway, you could find that. So, dear friends, what's happening for you this morning? I feel very subdued myself, quiet. Thank you, Tim. A beautiful creation and presented with such presence. It's almost as though you're a performer.
There's a funny story about that song.
Yeah?
It came to me in a dream. I had the dream, and there was this Irish guy in a bar singing that song. And I woke up and remembered whatever little bit I could, and then made the rest of it up.
Oops.
Hi, Robert. This is Lauren.
Hello, Lauren. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, one of my typical questions. Listen to your poem, and then I heard you say, "The world is insane, national and local, etc." And just wonder if you could comment on the juxtaposition of the intent or message of the reading and the immediate reality of an opinion or a desiring and
Right.
etc.
Right.
Get my intent.
Well, it was completely unintentional, the juxtaposition. The poem is an aspiration, in a way, of accepting the dualities, somehow or another accepting the fact of the tragic polarization that's happening. And somehow coming to the place that there is in myself fear, disliking, this whole vigilante thing that is emerging, I find unsettling. And in meditation, particularly, it's very relieving for me to notice that fear and to no longer identify with it, so that it's okay. There's tragic things happening, and it's perfectly okay. That's the what's the word? The paradox. And I think part of my bringing up the events of the world I haven't thought of this, but it has to do with realizing that we don't have to deny that's happening in order to do our practice deeply. In fact, maybe we can't deny it. But we don't need to stay dwelling in it and thinking about it. As soon as we get to the point of seeing thoughts as thoughts, then we have a lot of influence over where we live for the day. Because I can use this very device in front of me here, and in 2 or 3 minutes fill myself with such news and such thoughts that it's almost overwhelming. And so it's so helpful to see those as thoughts and mood, and not be identified with it all day, for instance. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that.
Hello, Tim.
Me again. It's something that has been real useful for me. I've been particularly worried and agitated and stuff since the Patriot Prayer Bag got shut downtown Saturday night. And I do a daily practice of going through traffic circle by my house and holding Black Lives Matter sign every day for an hour. And I started doing metta for that hour. So it just works really well. It's a straight hour of metta every hour that comes by. May you be happy, may you be at peace. And so there's no mind wandering because here comes another car, here comes another car. And I found it so soothing and so helpful to do that. It's been really nice for me.
Thank you. That's a beautiful practice, isn't it? Yeah. It's a lovely devotion on your part to be doing that still.
This is Vic.
Hello, Vic.
Hey. I wanted to share a little bit about my hiking meditation retreat that I went on Saturday. It was a steep hike, and it was through the Marquette Wilderness. It was about 5,000 feet of elevation gain in about 5 miles. So
Good God. That's a bit steep.
It was a little steep, and around the last 1,000 feet or so, I was tired, and I was like, will this ever end? And so I decided I was going to try and do some metta for myself because there was a lot of aversion. And I found that as I was doing that metta practice, I did that to a young me, a child Vic, and it helped. And I decided I was going to hold young Vic in my hands and continue climbing. And that felt good. And so I decided I was going to hold a young Anne Marie, my wife, in my arms too. And that felt really good too. But I decided I was going to hold the whole Sangha in my arms and continue climbing. And that felt really good. And so I decided I was going to hold the whole world in my arms and continue climbing. And that felt really good. The last 1,000 feet was a joy because I was carrying the whole world in my arms.
Beautiful.
I don't know if it was a runner's high or something like that, but it felt really good. So I just thought I would share that.
It's a meditator's high. And of course, there's a song that goes with it. It's a little sacrilegious, but Vic's got the whole world in his arms. Vic's got the whole world. What wonderful strategic things to do with our hearts and minds as we're going through our lives, making choices like that. Quite beautiful.
Good morning, Robert. Hi, Sangha. It's Jessica.
Hello, Jessica.
I'm really grateful to hear Vic and Tim's reminders on metta. I actually have something on my phone that tries to remind me every day to give myself a little loving kindness. And because I feel like lately one of the biggest challenges has just been that ongoing inner voice that pokes at me pretty constantly and says, why aren't you doing more? Can't you do more? Shouldn't you do more? And just trying to remember that sometimes, or most of the time, I'm doing the best I can with what I am, what I have at the moment. And like this weekend, the best that I could really bring was to be with neighbors and listen to neighbors and try and love them in their various challenges. So I really thank folks for sharing that because it was a good, really timely reminder on just how important that is, that sharing, that loving of ourselves and others too. So thank you.
It's pretty hard being a human, isn't it?
Hi, Robert. It's Carol.
Hello, Carol.
Well, I have a positive dilemma. I've been really enjoying your book, and I especially enjoy the Sunday meditation and Dharma talks. And as you may know, on Quadra, our meditation group has started meeting again on Sunday mornings, which is a very positive thing. And in a couple of weeks, we're actually going to be discussing your book.
Yeah, Don told me. How cool.
Yeah, it is cool. So now I have the decision as to whether I would like to attend our meditation groups and discuss the book and Local Sangha, or get the teachings from the horse's mouth. Right? First world.
Well,
next working, so I don't have to make that decision.
well, one of them can be time shifted. Just watch
That's true.
the later thing on Facebook or hopefully on YouTube.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking do that on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm glad that that group has persisted for a long time. That's really a good, nice thing to know.
Yes, it has, and it's all good.
Did you find a new place to meet?
Not. It's still up in the air.
Yeah.
So, yeah, daycare maybe is going to be, and the community center seems like it's not going to quite work in terms of certain expectations, but perhaps it'll work somewhere. So we're very.
You know, I taught a little 2-day retreat in the daycare center, the children's place, 1 year. That was really fun. It was really, the chairs were all small and it was neat.
And it's lovely. You pick up on the energy of all the children that have been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice spot.
Thank you. (8:01). It's the last day of August. How can that be? Oh, Jennifer read something very interesting that we're doing. Our garden has been insane this year with this beautiful soil that we imported. And there are a lot of green tomatoes. And it's supposed to be really hot again here for another 10 days. So they'll probably ripen. But she read that at this point, cut off all the new flowers that are never going to make fruit, and bring lots of light and air into the plants. So now we have plants that have beautiful, lots and lots of tomatoes, but now they can see the sun, and maybe that'll ripen them up. I guess also on the news front, I bought the moldings for the room yesterday, and Larry left me his pneumatic nail driver. So I think those moldings may go on today. Getting very close to completion. Thank you all. Well, any last something anyone's sitting with that you'd like to share? Another image of the sharing just came to mind. It's funny how that happens. For several years, it was 2 or maybe 3 years, I can't remember, it's a long time ago, I went for a week each summer to an old, it was like an old building in the woods in Mendocino, and I went with 120 other men. And it was led by Robert Bly and Michael Mead and James Hillman and a couple of other amazing human beings, all men. And it was the mytho-poetic movement. And we shared poems, we danced, we drummed, we spoke from the heart. Each man had 5 minutes to stand in the group of 120 men and make his statement. And it was very powerful. It was in a time when I was beginning to make friends with the fact that I'm a man, because I'd been raised to not to disapprove profoundly of that. And one of the groups, they were the dream catchers. And if you had a dream in the night, and you wanted to share it, if you wanted to share it, you would take it to the dream catchers, and then they would, in the first morning, in the first meeting of the morning, they would act out the dream. And so you would get to see your dream acted out by others. It's like a psychodrama. And one of the intentions was, I can remember Robert Bly saying this, maybe this dream isn't just yours. Maybe this dream is part of the community. Maybe it's coming out of this community. So let's have the community relate to the dream. And it was really stunning the way that it worked. And I think in exactly the same way, our personal sharing may be significantly personal, but may also be coming from the group. And so when we share, we're sharing back a part of our interaction that it may be there and be more important for someone else in the group than for you when you share or ask a question. Such is the going beyond our fantasies of isolation into our true Sangha, that we are of each other. Oh, Jim, you want to mention your guest house? Is it starting tonight?
Yes, sir. The regular Monday session got interrupted by the book club, and I really wanted to participate in that. But now I'm feeling the itch to come back. So me and Rumi will be there tonight. We're going to use Stephen Levine's A Gradual Awakening as kind of the focus for the next 6 or 8 weeks, and read sections from that book, the classic. That's one of the books that I discovered through you 29 years ago. It's an amazing classic.
It's a beauty. It really is a beauty. Yep. Alicia, don't mean to put you on the spot, but do you want to say anything about the I saw an email come in from you about the social justice. I haven't read the email yet, but would you like to say something about that?
Sure, yeah. So those who participated in the recent book circle on neo-white supremacy received an email, which is a survey of sort of options or opportunities of things that the Sangha might like to do together in order to advance the racial justice initiative that's underway. So the survey only went out to that group of people. I'm not sure if the intention is to circulate it more broadly, but there was a very long list of sort of ideas that were generated through the book circle, and those are going to be, it's certainly not a definitive list, but it's sort of a starting point. So there's sort of a core group that's been coordinating the book group anyway, and we'll be taking some of the top selections and sharing them with the Teachers Council. And I'm not entirely sure what will happen from there, but if you did receive the survey and can just take a moment to answer it, that would be wonderful. We'd love to understand what's most on people's minds as they think about how the Sangha and PIMC can participate in the racial justice movement.
So in this group, more shall be revealed as we move along. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, my friends, anybody sitting with something that's perhaps important to share? All righty. So let's go out on a song. I think everyone is unmuted. Yeah. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Goodbye, dear friends. Have a loving, safe day, and may we be blessed with mindfulness. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Who's that little voice? I hear it. I hear a little voice. Bye-bye.
Everyone.
Goodbye, friends on YouTube. I sure hope